10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Cloud9 up against EWolves in the lower bracket here. The team that moves on from this one is going to go to the semifinals of the lower bracket and have a chance to get that coveted spot for the big tournament a month from now. Motpax, how are you doing today? You excited for this game?
Doing great and very excited. So this is do or die. Winner faces off against Complexity into the semifinals of the lower bracket, I believe, and then the loser's out. So definitely, teams looking to advance further into the summer if they want any help coming over to the big party.
This game, both teams actually putting on really great showings throughout the course of this tournament and what they've been able to do. And I think that there's a lot of very interesting things that we've been seeing recently. Obviously, first and foremost, let's just get right into the draft because we can talk more about this if we end up having a downtime during the game. But Shadow Fiend first banned on out, as well as the Doom. We got the Lich not here, nor is going to be the Ember Spirit. I think that's a bit of a respect ban there, not wanting to give that away to Ritsu, who's just been able to completely and totally tear people apart with this hero. I got a chance to look at some of the stats before the game, and he is currently 13 and 14 in pro matches on this hero. It's just disgusting how well he's been able to do this patch. Also, Winter Wyvern going to be picked up now for Cloud9, so potentially going to be trying to take up that Darkseer if they do go for that. Queen of Pain, another very, very popular hero for EWolves, and I think that also for them, that this hero, we talk about flexibility a lot. She actually has been run in equal amounts in every single lane for EWolves. They run her in the off lane, they run her in the safe lane, and they run her in mid. So very flexible start to this draft for them. Yeah, it's always good when you have something like that in your toolkit when you're going up for drafting, and helps keep the other team guessing, makes it more difficult to predict your lanes. Yeah, you mentioned the Darkseer. I believe Cloud9, that the last loss with Ember Spirit, I think was their last game. It was definitely their last set up against Root Gaming, I do believe. So a little bit shaky lately, but yeah, I mean that's pretty insane record. So one thing remaining would be the IO. I know it's something that Cloud9 would like to go for. We'll see if they go for it here, but with the Queen of Pain and the Tusk now got, I think the Darkseer is probably the top one right now. Yeah, definitely. I think that would make a lot of sense. Or actually, this was the other hero that I was going to mention, Ancient Apparition, another hero that they prioritize very, very heavily. I believe that their win rate on this one as well, it's 9 and 4 this patch. So feeling very strong with it. It gives you a lot of sort of damage in the early game if you want to be able to sort of really dole that out in that safe lane with Chilling Touch, or if you want to go aggressive with it, you can go in an aggressive tri-lane. A little bit less common with the Winter Wyvern, it's got to be said. But obviously the other big combo is the Veno that can get run, which is just devastating. Probably not going to be here either. Yeah, for sure. And he also kind of shores up the possibility of, well, one thing that EWolves and, well, pretty much everyone in the NA and SA scene will go for will be that Huskar. So AA is there to kind of, a little bit of a safeguard against that, as well as the Alchemist, who hasn't been mentioned yet in the draft. Just another good hero up against him. But 1437 loves running this little Ancient Apparition. And they actually do ban out the Brood, which is typically one of those things that is actually a good tool for Cloud9 because they'll also throw it over to MSS. It didn't work out too well for them the last couple times, I believe, but of course they, you don't really want to go up against the one coming out from EWolves either. Yeah, no, it's a hero that just even if the other team doesn't run it all the time, it's just something that can really mess with your mindset. You have to play differently around it. It's sort of the same thing about the Huskar, that it's if you end up losing to a last pick Brood, it's just kind of the worst thing in the world. But Slardar is also going to be banned out here. No real surprise there. Another hero that's just been incredibly powerful. I feel like throughout the course of this patch, we've really started to see, while there are very strong heroes, every hero is becoming more and more strong. It's a sort of a balance by making everybody better, and then the heroes that are sort of left out are still good, but they're just not as good as these other sort of top tier picks. But I mean, Ancient Apparition, a hero that kind of gets run all over the place, I think, but then in the North American scene, at least in South American scene, but then you switch on over to something like China, and over there they're heavily prioritizing Spirit Breaker, and it's sort of all of these metas converging together. I think that it's going to be a really interesting environment when we actually get to, the Summit 4 and these other big tournaments, Frankfurt Majors, and see what sort of rises to the top there.
Yeah, there's significantly more, I mean, other than really the Doom and I guess Queen of Pain, there is a lot of variability in the first overall picks and bans. It's less about top-tier heroes as it is player-hero combos, like people who are just really comfortable running certain things. Like, you're probably not going to see a Meepo ban this game, but if you're up against Team Secret, it's pretty much the most classic example. Something you're always looking out for. OG as well, been known to run it. So there's a couple of those little combinations that are being tossed around a little bit more in the competitive scene as compared to 6.84.
Definitely. And Darkseer are going to be the ban out now. Cloud9 taking a long time for that one, wanting to sort of make sure that they get their draft in their mind of where they want to go. It's worth noting, we took a look at the odds before this game. It was about 60-30, 65-35, somewhere in that range for who was going to be the most, or who was going to end up coming out on top. I think either team can really take this game. It's very much one of those situations where EWolves have proven themselves more and more to be a strong force to contend with, and South American teams in general. You think about teams like Unknown and how well they've been able to rise up and get invited to the Frankfurt Majors as well. And Cloud9 throughout the past couple of matches haven't looked completely and totally like themselves, and I think that they're going to be looking to get back on track with this one, and of course they want to win it to be able to move on towards the Summit 4 when it actually ends up happening. But time will tell. Beastmaster is going to be the other band on out, not wanting to deal with any silly boars or hawks around this game.
Yeah, they've run it a couple times over there on Cloud9. I believe EWolves have also run it, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just someone that we had a lot of those Vision heroes get nerfed, like Bounty, the Disruptor, Q get changed and stuff like that. And so Beastmaster is one of those guys like, oh, I still got my Hawk, so he's still willing to toss it up. And speaking of Vision, the Dazzle's actually still left in the pool, which might be something that EWolves could be looking for here.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that could be a really strong pickup there. They pick him up relatively frequently. I think he's actually the most played hero by Misco this patch. He has a 9-2 record on it, but going to take the Visage. So the other thing I was going to mention is that a lot of times what we see out of EWolves is them really trying to secure the safe lane. This has included things like running an Ember Spirit themselves, or excuse me, secure themselves the mid lane. And they've been running an Ember Spirit there with like a Mirana combo and just being able to lay out a ton of damage that way. And this one, the Visage, he can roam around a little bit and is a very strong laning hero in his own presence. So this might allow EWolves to have somebody else to stay as a roaming support sort of combo, while Visage keeps track of the safe lane there, and maybe really to try and secure them, smash a strong early game.
Yeah, and then the other good part about that is that with the Queen of Pain, we know that they do run it in variable lanes, so if you end up going with maybe a more hard farming mid, throw him in the mid lane, and then you send Queen of Pain down to the safe lane. Once she has a couple levels, starts to roam around a bit, it does create a little bit of space for heroes like Visage. They're relatively greedy, so same thing we've seen Cloud9 do when they ran that 4-position Slardar. Won't be happening this game, of course, but just giving more space for some of those support heroes that you want to add on a lot of levels, a lot of farm, and kind of compel themselves right into the mid game.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned there as well the sort of roaming around type of heroes in the safe lane. That's something that I think South American teams in general, and particularly EWolves, like to do a lot. Oftentimes you'll see them run something like a Gyrocopter or a Queen of Pain, and then once they end up getting their level 6, they'll go for a smoke gank on up to the enemy safe lane and try and take them out really quickly. And Gyrocopter, while a hero that can fight early, is a little bit susceptible if you really bring the pain towards him. And while Winter Wyvern is a great hero for being able to keep somebody alive, if you roam a Queen of Pain from the safe lane on up to the top lane with a Tusk already in the off lane, maybe you bring one other support in tow while the Visage is standing down there, this Gyrocopter is going to completely and totally melt. And I wouldn't at all be surprised to see that if they do end up running that Queen of Pain in the safe lane here, which is still a possibility.
Yeah, it would help for the early aggression running on top of them. They've also done with the Winter Wyvern, they're going to have the curse combined with the call down into the AA bless. And I was wondering, Oh, actually, they're going to go for the Alchemist. So that'll be probably their mid. With the offlane remaining and having the AA, there has been a really popular combination running. We saw it in Nanyang, and we also saw it a couple times in the EU scene lately, and that's actually the Nyx Assassin in the offlane. There is still the Clockwork, who's probably one of the bigger offlane heroes still remaining in the pool, but and he's also very good against Gyrocopter, so you might see EWolves snag this up first if it's not banned out here by C9, but they could go with the Nyx Assassin. He's fairly good up against Tusk, good up against SK because you can stun him outside of the Sandstorm when he's trying to sneak. A lot of good little combinations there, but they'll actually ban out the AA. Oh yeah, now that we look at the actual Herald lineups. So that makes quite a bit of sense, because it'd be that offlane Sand King, possibly Tusk.
I kind of think that it might end up being Tusk. Another thing that I noticed is Stinger, the offlane player for EWolves, is very much about he has several heroes that he feels very comfortable, and I think that in 20 or 30 games, I think 30 games, he has only 7 different heroes played, and Tusk is one of them that he really feels comfortable on. So I'm wondering if this might end up being a Masuko playing the Sand King, sort of in that farming, pulling, and trying to get stacks up, a quick blink dagger, and then roaming around trying to make havoc happen. This Alchemist pick, this is the thing that you always need to consider, is how are they going to deal with this? Are they going to try and shut him down in lane early? Are they going to try and really push on these towers early? Oh, Klink's picked up. Interesting. So gonna go for trying to take out his jungle there. Do you think this is going to be one of those sort of soul rings, roam around the map and just burst them apart type of lineup for him?
Yeah, judging by how they've kind of paired up these really aggressive supports and trying to get an early Blink Dagger on top of your Sand King, trying to get some early farm on the Visage to start moving in towards those towers. They don't want to allow, like, they want to go into the mid lane early and put a lot of pressure on top of the Alchemist, and that's one thing Queen of Pain's obviously good at, but combined with the Tusk, they'll grab that. And then it will be the Clockwork there, so kind of suspected, best one left in the pool. If you're not going to go for the Nyx Assassin, you can combo that up very nicely with the hook shot, and it looks like we're ready to go here.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this game. Now, a couple of things that I'm a little bit concerned about. 1, EWolves' ability to shut down and consistently find and kill that Alchemist. 2, Gyrocopter, if he's going to be able to stay alive for Cloud9. So 2 things that I'm a little bit worried about. 1, the onus is on EWolves to be able to shut down the Alchemist. And 2, when they do try and roam around and kill that Gyrocopter, which I think is going to end up happening at some point, probably see Van sneak on up there and get on top of him. How are Cloud9 going to be able to contend with that? Because it's a lot of damage coming out very quickly, and if Winter Wyvern isn't in the area, they might end up running into a problem. I mean, that's the thing. You think about Dazzle, like, the hero is so great for being able to keep somebody alive, obviously, and I think that he went untouched through the draft. Is that true? I think so.
I think he did, yeah. Actually, not something that happens all too often. And now looking at this, I was wondering, one thing that we have seen, Klinks being in the safe lane, they don't like to take a lot of points into the invis, but it's probably unlikely that they're going to try any sort of an aggro lane. Now, it's not too bad when you're running Winter Wyvern and AA. Usually 2 heroes like paired up the Weaver, or even the Gyrocopter is good, but of course, if there's one thing a Visage likes, it's an aggro tri-lane running at him, so I'd understand if C9 aren't going to do that, just kind of play it safer. We'll see what they're going to do to try and secure a little bit more farm for MSS, though. Not having the Lich or anything like that, they're going to have to rely on the cog blocks. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering now, actually, that you mentioned aggro try, if EWolves might try and do that. Like, you've got the ability to do it. If you put Sand King up against Clockwork, that's actually a lane that Sand King does fairly well in. I wouldn't entirely be surprised, because then you would end up having Klink's, Tusk, Visage in a lineup together up against a lane with very, very few stuns, very little lockdown, and while they do have damage, like, if they start out and get early boots, I think that they actually win that lane really hard. I don't know. And the other thing is that you might end up having to sort of keep the Alchemist alive a little bit longer, because Queen of Pain is going to be up against him. I'm a little bit concerned about Cloud9's draft.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with how EWolves will start rolling. I mean, it seems that we do deal with quite a few momentum-based lineups these days. It's not so much the let's all sit back and farm and just hang out. With the Alchemist, if you don't apply a lot of that pressure early and you end up with that 10-minute Radiance, it just immediately makes your game so much harder to play against. And when it comes into that, you know, Manta and Octarine Court, there's not that many tools. There's basically, there'll be an Orchid on the Queen of Pain to try and get some pickoffs, but he's going to have the Manta. And they don't have anything like the Legion Commander Lockdown or even like a hook shot or anything like that for that kind of global. They'll have to rely on a couple combo spells from the Snowball and the Sand King. It just kind of seems like there's a lot of room to move around the map. Even imagine if he was someone like an Anti-Mage, but even with an Alchemist who can just kind of run and has the health regen, I think if C9 get out of control, it's going to be hard for EWolves to reel them back in.
Right, which would give another credence to the idea of trying to apply that pressure early and see what they can do. So I guess time will tell. It's a very interesting dynamic here, and I think that both sides have clearly defined objectives for what they want to accomplish. And I guess in the end, it just comes down to execution, and also the lane dynamic and where they end up all going. Obviously, dual lanes have sort of become king in terms of what they wanted to do. When I saw the Sand King, I kind of wondered for a second if we might see like a Sand King Tusk dual lane where a Snowball into Burrow Strike type of thing, but I'm not sure if that necessarily would be the best thing ever either. I still like the tri-lane idea, but anyways, we're gonna stop theory crafting. We'll just get right on into it. A little quick little introduction for Cloud9 here. Brax is gonna be playing the Alchemist. We have SVG on that Winter Wyvern. 1437 is gonna be playing your Ancient Apparition. Ritsu on the Gyrocopter, heading on down towards this bottom lane, along with MSS on the Clockwork. Looking like they might see if they can potentially find somebody here for a little bit of early aggression. Who do we have on EWolves?
Well, it's going to be Stinger up on the Tusk, and it'll be Masoku on the Visage. Smash going to be in the mid lane there on the Queen of Pain. Mystico, aka M-God, on your Sand King. And last, Van, the Slark player himself, on the Clinks.
Wonderful. Really, really cool. So everybody just trying to spread on out, find their relative lanes where they're going to go. Very interesting. So it's looking like they might actually have a Winter Wyvern Gyrocopter dual lane. Is that really what we're going to be seeing here? That seems... I guess they are just going to go aggro try with it.
30 seconds to battle.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, looks like they're not too afraid of it. It's when you're adding on that extra bonus damage from the Chilling Touch, it really is quite devastating in a try-on-try. So if any hero is going to go up against the Masoku Visage, I could see it being someone comboed up with the AA. They could also just head right back top. Oh no, they're definitely going bottom. MSS is there.
Yep, alright, well, here we go.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Getting ready to contest for this early bounty rune. Want to make sure that they're able to secure it for the Alchemist. The Queen of Pain is going to have to get out of here in a second. I do believe there is still a chance that they could... No, they don't want to turn on this. Too much damage too quickly, and they skedaddle on out. But the Clinks looking to be left alone at these early stages. You do wonder at this point in time if this is going to be too difficult of a lane. They really must feel very confident in Brax's ability. I guess he is going to be able to get that bounty rune in a second, or get the bottle back up in a second because of the bounty rune, and then he can just kind of toss on out those acid sprays and be comfortable.
Yeah, they are going to smoke up immediately, so this is that pressure that we're talking about when it comes up to the Alchemist, just going right into Brax. He's got that bounty rune, but they want to shut him down. I'm a little interested they didn't opt for the Tusk in this, because it is going to be... It's going to be a long range when you try and get that level 1 Burrow Strike on top, even with the Soul Assumption. Or rather, the Grave Trail, that is.
Yeah. I'm wondering almost if they're going to wait and try and snipe the bottle. Nobody's showing in the lanes. They should know that this is going on, and the bottle is actually coming out right now. If they waited a little bit longer, they could potentially go for that courier snipe, but instead they're going to go forward, jump onto Brax. Burrow Strike is up, ready to go if they want to commit it. They do end up using that. Grave Chill comes out, slowing down that attack speed and movement speed, and that is first blood. Sand King takes it over the Alchemist. Nicely done.
Yeah, with that complete, they can kind of head back down bottom and possibly secure a little bit more here for Van, as he's just trying to stay within EXP range, doing an okay job so far. Has not committed to a skill point either, so if he desperately needs a form of escape, he can go with the Skeleton Walk.
Should be relatively decent. He's actually able to get a couple of denies here and there as well. Ooh, jump forward is going to be taking a lot of damage. The Chilling Touch and the Arctic Burn is so much, and after he ended up skilling up that Searing Arrows to get the last hit, they just run him down. Oh goodness, that is terrifying.
Yeah, the moment they saw, they were like, oh sweet, we won't even have to spend a century, and just dove him. And he immediately heads top. Van's just like, alright, I'm done with this. He gets smoked up. Looks like they're going to try and make a play before revealing that he has made this rotation. And meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Ritsu and 1437, they're just going to start pounding away on this tower. Yeah, see if they can get anything up here.
Can't really commit as much. Oh, they are actually going to be trying to catch here. They do find him. Board. Nicely done. Going to be just a quick little kill there. MSS trying to get away as much as possible. Does end up cogsing them just to dole out a little bit more damage to that Tusk there. But nonetheless, it's sort of a thing now where Cloud9 are going to be trying to push on down this tower. I don't know if EWolves are going to be able to push down top on their own. I guess that now it's just sort of a bit of a rotating lanes type of dynamic.
That was like the ultimate time to say space created.
Yeah.
Your MSS right there. Like 4 heroes coming to your lane, it's not even 3 minutes yet to get the kill, but it does work out well for them. If you don't get that kill, it's pretty dangerous, but definitely not the most usual ward, so I can understand why MSS thought that he was out of vision there.
Right. Definitely. And I mean, Visage was right there with the Grave Chill as well if they need to make it happen. Tower now down to almost half HP. I don't know if they really can contest this, honestly. It's so difficult. The only thing Sand King can really do is drop on down a Sandstorm, but even if he does that, they're just going to be able to drop their own sentries and potentially kill him as quickly as they took on out that Clinks. While Sand King is a little bit more durable, it's not really significantly.
Yeah, they are successfully zoning on MSS though. There's not too much Clockwork can do here. Basically, just by having boots on Van, he can maneuver around the clogs very easily, and there's just so much damage that comes out from steering arrows that even for someone who's tanky like the Clockwork, he's just forced completely back here. So he's doing his job in holding 2 heroes at least.
I mean, yeah, they are going to be able to zone him pretty effectively, but well, actually, they do end up running into him now. Grave Chill, that would have been a dead Visage. Thankfully, doesn't end up getting taken out. The thing to keep in mind is Clockwork is level 4 right now, so he is, to a large extent, already done the most of his job, the second highest level in the game. I think that he's pretty comfortable where he's at. One thing to keep in mind, and always going to need to keep an eye on it, is the Alchemist's net worth chart. Only 2k right now, but after picking on up an Invis rune, he's not going to be able to finish on off the bounty rune up top, so a little bit of bad luck mixed with not the best lane in the world is going to give him a bit of a tough time here. Maybe a little bit of a rumble in the jungle. We do see SCG find on out the Tusk. Chilling Touch is down, a couple more right clicks, and look at how quickly falls. So much damage. Is going to snowball to try and turn it around. Bow Strike, is this the save? Are they going to be able to do that? The body box from M-God. Say it ain't so. What a play right there by EWolves, keeping their buddy Mr. Tusk alive.
Yeah, Stinger knowing exactly when to get that last snowball off. I thought he was dead for sure. It looked like the right click was connecting from SVG, but extremely well played. He will survive. And again, yeah, like you were talking about with Brax, we had the early rotation for Smash to help him secure a kill, but no such luck here for Brax, and unable to secure some bounty runes. It does get pretty rough. With an aggressive tri-lane, it also means he's doing his own stacks. He has been doing it successfully though, and he'll get a triple stack now, set up and ready. Another thing is you're noticing he is going for 2 early points in the Greevil's Greed, whereas most Alchemists now are doing max acid, only 1 into the Greevil's Greed and then a single into the Concoction, but without those support rotations due to the aggressive tri-lane, it kind of makes sense. Like, what was he really going to benefit from? He's not going to save his life having Concoction at any point, I don't think.
Yeah, it's such a tough little dynamic. I mean, you saw the snowball from Tusk being able to save him, but that's kind of one of those unique circumstances where he had people around him at the same time, whereas for Brax, there really hasn't been anybody in his lane. He's been left to fend for himself, so it's not really a single stun like that isn't going to keep him alive. Sand King, level 3, hasn't committed another point quite yet to any Burrow Strike or a Sandstorm, but this is going to start to be a key component for him. If he's able to get a good amount of levels here, I think he's going to be really comfortable with that. We do get the Arctic burn down. Top lane, we are also seeing a little bit of engagement. Clockwork not going to find the kill there, but I think that Winter Wyvern and Tusk, they might have overstayed their welcome a little bit. Looks like Ritsu might end up falling. A quick little kill there on top of the Gyrocopter. They're farming hero. Can they find another one? No snowball, but they do end up getting the right click. Nicely done there as they're able to find that one. Alchemist gets a bounty rune in the mid lane, but up top again, Masuko ends up getting found out, and that's going to be another kill leveled. So fight recap, 1100 gold swing into the favor of EWolves, but they do lose the Visage up in the top lane for it.
Yeah, 3rd time's the charm there for MSS. Finally get some trap inside those cogs. So I'm happy with that. And ooh, do they have protection here? Actually, they've rendered the sentries on Theban, so won't be getting an easy pick off on Van. So now I wonder if they're going to start turning their attention towards Braxkin. They have a TP from Masoku, but it looks like he might be thinking about it. It's about that time again. You want to head back in, keep an eye on him, you know, keep your tabs going on this little gold maker.
Yeah, definitely. They've done a great job of keeping him contained so far, and actually the Visage is on running into trouble with 1 level in stun. Still probably not going to be opportunity for a kill there, but Brax, I don't really know at this point if you can. You certainly can't fight, but at the same time, you just need your team to be able to secure your stacks for you, shoring up your jungle a little bit more. But actually, the stack ends up getting taken. Oh, right, of course, that was Brax. Okay, cool. I was going to say, how did Clock back? That is definitely not what happened.
Yeah, even with just 2 points in the acid spray, it becomes pretty easy. Now he'll have the 2-1-2-1. A little bit, you know, a not too too super standard, but he is ready if someone wants to make a rotation. Maybe suspecting that he's going to be dove under the tower shortly, and he'll have the concoction ready for some TPs coming in from some of his allies. And it looks like SVG is actually going to get a little bit of space down here, possibly for not too long, with Stinger comes in here from the west. And desperately trying to get this level 6, but it looks like he might pay for this little attempt here.
And they say the Snowball are going to be able to use it to clear on out all of these trees, and just like that, SVG is going to end up going down. I don't think he gets out of this one at all, and it looks like they're actually going to try and leave. The Clockwork ends up coming over. All right, Soul Assumption finishes off the Winter Wyvern by the Visage. Now another Grave Chill, trying to create that separation. Maybe going to be able to get out of there. Looks like the Tusk is going to end up falling. No more mana for Soul Assumption, but the Queen of Pain comes on in Sonic Wave one more time. MSS bottling up, trying to stay alive. There's the rotation in as well from Brax. They can't find him, though. Oh, really nice Invis rune there by Smash, keeping him alive. No more rotations in from EWolves. It looks like they're going to content it to stay clear for now. There's still a sentry. Smash is not going to walk through that one again, but might just be hunting MSS here. All right, now he's going to walk away. That's probably the proper move.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back over. They probably wouldn't even have the lockdown to take care of him, even with the hook shot quite yet, I don't think. He might go for a little bit of harass here. Actually, they might go for a kill. They have the Visage. The Stinger's coming over as well as Mystico. And Braxton in a little bit of a dangerous position.
He doesn't have ulti for another 7 seconds. He's going to drop now. I don't think that there's anything that this Ancient Apparition can do to help him. We do have several more rotations on in. Clockwork is here. He's going to be able to level that down. A huge call down as well, but not going to hit onto anybody after the jump away by the Sand King. He does still have Burrow Strike. Going to make his way out of here. Just barely going to get taken down by Ritsu. And 2 quick kills in succession. I'm not sure if it's worth it for the Alchemist, though.
Yeah, he's kind of your golden egg in this game, so they're trying to give him as much farm as possible, obviously. Trying to get him towards that Radiance if that's the build he wants to go. Assuming it's not going to be that mech or anything. He's definitely further behind than your standard Alchemist. He did pick up some treads, though, as we do see Smash snag up SVG in the mid lane. Just a poor little Winter Wyvern.
Oh, he stays alive. All right, cool. He doesn't end up getting stunned there, Brax. They did end up getting that kill on that Winter Wyvern, as you mentioned, but... yeah, they need to start doing something. It's not good when your Gyrocopter is more net worth than your Alchemist. I mean, I guess it's okay because it's still your hero, but not necessarily the best in the world. Is going to be picking up an Ogre Club for the Alch. Very interesting. So looking for that survivability instead of going for the max farm.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of different interpretations. We've seen the mechanism come out from Super, and trying to run that through the mid lane, and then kind of that's with more of a pushing strat though. And with C9, it's okay to just go in for the early S and Y, is what I would guess, just based off of that. Try and group up with your team, just kind of be that tanky frontliner, absorb a couple Soul Assumptions, as you do have a lot of high magic bursts coming out from the side of the EWolves with Sand King and Visage, and then of course the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like it would be a pretty strong little ability there to have somebody who can just soak on up all of that damage. And there is a good amount of burst that's coming out here, particularly from Van once he starts to get a couple more items here. Worth noting, Sand King about halfway to that Blink Dagger, so not the best time in the world, but he's been forced to move around a lot. Is saving that level 6 just in case he needs it for the Epicenter. But it looks like they're doing a good job, EWolves, of maintaining a good farming rate around the map. I mean, you take a look at the net worth, it's still into the lead of Cloud9, but it's only about 1,500. That's much less than you'd be expecting out of an Alchemist lineup, and experience is really the key story here, I think, just because it gives a more clear indication of where the game is going, and EWolves do have 1,000 experience lead.
Yeah, and if you actually looked at before the 11-minute spawn camp, they actually had or spawn time, they actually had every single one of their camps cleared in the Radiant Jungle, so they are doing a pretty good job, of course, using Mystico here on the Sand King, able to sandstorm them all down, but they also have the Visage going in. You'll have the birds now, freshly summoned here from Asogu, and this makes tower pushes a lot easier, and of course, it is kind of the bane of the existence to the Clockwork if he accidentally runs into one of the birds with a hookshot.
Yeah, definitely. It's very frustrating to play against that. They do ping out. I think they realize that Van is here. They do drop the sentry ward. He's going to need to run away now. Dusted on up. Oh, this is going to be a problem. This is definitely going to be a dead Clinks as he just runs in circles. But once again, another one of those space created type of situations. Nobody's showing on the map. All of a sudden, everybody's in the jungle. Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah, kind of hunting around, looking for that death fact creep. Looks like they'll tag a little damage, but Smash will just get away here. And I wonder if there is... we haven't lost too many towers. Of course, we had the early push thanks to Van clearing out from that bottom lane. They'll now have All 3 tier 1s still up for C9. I wonder if the EWolves will be looking for any sort of a push. They're probably waiting on this Blink Dagger from Misco, kind of the #1 priority right now. And the Sange is finished up for Brax too. So yeah, they actually have a stack that was just pinged out there by Masoko saying, yo, head that way. I made you a stack.
Yeah, well, looks like at least for now they're going to be trying to smoke on up and go on through the enemy jungle. And I think that they can maybe find a kill here on Ritsu. He's going to be roaming on through the river to get to the other side of the jungle. And looks like actually they're just going to rotate, try and take on out this top tier 1 tower. With the smoke going on through EWolves jungle, though, I think that Winter Wyvern should probably clear out of here pretty soon. Should know that there's something going on, but it might have already missed the point where she's going to be able to do that. Does end up running onto the other side. They drop on down the ward, realizing that she's going to be able to get out of there. Nice Arctic burn. Do realize, I think, that she's over on the other side. No, they're not going to be able to find her. A little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty hard to track down with the Blink Dagger. Sniffs out the whole gang, so that's pretty nice for the side of Cloud9, and they'll trade up for the mid-tier 1. Probably, I mean, fairly even, a little bit better for Cloud9, but it looks like they are going to come down and contest. Smash comes in, he'll get stunned up by the unstable concoction. Hookshot will not connect, the delayed TP, I believe, throwing off MSS. Now, Misco coming through with that burrow struck on top of 2, 1437, dropping low inside Sandstorm. And the EWolves are back. MSS is on the run. He's got the battery assault going. There will be ice shards in 2 more seconds. So Stinger looking to cut someone off. And here comes the big bad Ritsu. And that cooldown is going to land on top of 1. And Misco just barely avoiding. But here comes that Sonic wave. It completely wipes out MSS. Now Smash out in a bit of trouble. No blink available. Lacking the mana. Misco. He is invisible over on the side. He gets Winter's Curse though. They do have the detection. And Ritsu will come in and clear that up. Gets himself a triple kill with Masoku still in the area. And it appears he's out of mana. No more soul assumptions, no more damage, and Van is simply the last one on the run. This is essentially the greatest possible scenario when you're the gyrocopter player.
Oh my god, what devastation. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still actually an even trade as far as a gold exchange, but it was 4 heroes for 4. The key thing is you're taking a look, this is 1,300 gold going the direction of your gyrocopter, whereas it was a relatively even distribution of not much gold for EWolves. And the key thing, you know, you were able to keep alive that Clinks throughout all of it, but this is going to accelerate Gyrocopter into his next item. He's already going to be able to finish off his Yasha, so Sange and Yasha now up for him. Mid lane again, it looks like they're going to be able to find on a MSS. AA Blast coming on in. I don't think it's going to actually be lethal. Van taking a lot of damage now with Brax coming in as well. This is going to be enough to kill off Van, I do believe. Does he shatter to this? No, not to the last tick. He stays alive. Tradition is the one that ends up going down, so a 2-for-0 trade right there. Definitely what you want to have happen. They do give up another bounty rune to this alchemist, 7,500 net worth on him, as well as 7,600 on the gyrocopter.
Yeah, he's fairly far up there. The two of them kind of dominating the top of the chart, and with that S and Y, I wonder if he just goes right into the BKB. I think that might be just the best item. Like, you've already gotten enough damage for the time in the game it is. If you can get a BKB, you can easily clear out these last couple towers. Probably take the last tier 1, a couple tier 2, secure yourself the Roshan fight. There's really not too much to worry about. They'll probably be requiring a pickoff on Mystico to make it happen though. Being afraid of the epicenter. It looks like a little bit of damage thrown from SVG, but I think they'll be able to clear out of here in time. That nice aggressive ward there.
That's going to keep that vision. And, you know, with the gyrocopter nearby, there was always the chance that they could have turned on that and tried to go for something. Visage Bird's actually going to be wrapping around Ritsu right now. We do have Visage himself as well as the Tusk in the area, but it's a little bit of a big ask for them to actually go for this. The Ice Shard, Erosion Sigil rather, is going to scout out all of these heroes, so they know what's up, as well as the Visage Bird. They got really great vision. I mean, that's the thing that we were talking about in the draft as well, is prioritizing this for EWolves, knowing when they can go in and take a solid engagement versus when they might end up sort of just, you know, feeding their life away if they jump in. Sand King has finished the Blink Dagger. The other key item that's going to be coming up relatively shortly is Tusk with his mechanism. He's still about 800 gold away from finishing that off, but at this point in time, there isn't anybody on Cloud9 that is building that. So you get a mech advantage going into the next fight. Well, maybe the fight after next. It could really make a huge difference as far as turning that around for EWolves.
It's interesting that some teams aren't really drafting up that mechanism hero. Some teams have kind of tried to make up for it with like the super mechanism on the alchemist or something like that. But if you're just kind of running like the healing strat, obviously from SVG is pretty important. Having that on top, and then when you're running the AA as well, maybe they're just like, oh, we can cancel out the mech. We don't need our own. It'll be fine. As MSS is actually going to hookshot right on top of Stinger. They've got the unstable concoction ready. I believe there will be the time. Yeah, he'll still be able to get this tossed out. And Stinger just drops. Oh, there is going to be the blink in the epicenter as well. He'll catch it onto 2. MSS dropping low, but there's a Winter's Curse on top. They're going to try and burst him down as quick as they can. Nice. The Soul Assumption will burst through a nice little counter there to that Winter Wyvern. SVG also, of course, going to drop down once Smash blinks in. And Ritsu's on the run. So I guess it ends up being a 2 for 2 as long as Brax makes it in here live, which appears he will.
Yeah, that was really... I think that as soon as they committed the call down, EWolves were like, all right, we can go in on this, because they only lost the Tusk, who was still able to get off the majority of his spells. He tossed out an Ice Shards before he died, as well as being able to stun a couple of heroes with the Snowball. It wasn't the perfect ability to, use all of his spells the way that you want to have them happen, but it's still pretty important to get that damage out, and then following it up with the Sonic Wave, as well as the damage coming out from Van, and as you mentioned as well, being able to burst through that Clockwork with Soul Assumption through the Cold Embrace. It was just very well done. Clockwork is also going to be working on his BKB now, or excuse me, his Blade Mail now, and no BKBs online at this point in time for EWolves. This is going to be really, really important. I think especially for the Visage. He's no longer going to be able to focus him down like he did with that Soul Assumption.
Yeah, it's pretty big up against the Visage. It's a little bit hard. If you can catch out the Sonic Wave, it's good. Generally, Smash should be able to avoid it as the Queen of Pain, but things exactly like the Epicenter is one thing that you can't really control into blocking off that Blade Mail. And it looks like they will be snagging up the Roshan here, and they'll put that right on top of Ritsu, as one would suspect. And now with the Helm of the Dominator, he's fairly tanky. One might expect 1400 HP, 10k network. Can they... I wonder if no, there's a DD on Smash. I don't think they have any TPs to take care of this.
Smash actually doesn't have a TP himself either. Gonna be going for that Aghanim Scepter next after the Orchid. I will mention I was wrong. Clinks actually does have a BKB. He just finished it off. So 10 seconds up on that. He's not gonna have any hesitation about throwing on out those arrows at the Mr. Clockwork, and it's still not going to be up for a little while. So I think this is a timing right now. With Tusk finishing off the mechanism, he also has his Arcane Boots. They're going to be in a good situation relatively shortly where they can take a fight, and they don't want to. I mean, we talked throughout the whole course of the draft, throughout the whole course of this game, about needing to keep applying that pressure. If you just leave the Alchemist to farm alone for a while right now, you could really end up losing the game. And it's tough because they do have the Aegis at the same time, and you don't want to fight into the Aegis, but I think this is the point where you have to find a pick-off if you're EWolves.
Yeah, and Ritsu playing it pretty deep here, ends up just call downing the wave and TPing top, knowing that he's in there pretty deep. So perfectly done, actually, because it forces that full rotation. They were going down, trying to make something happen, but now the entire team of C9, yeah, nice snag there.
Oh, so much hate. It's good to see that, being able to take away that bounty rune from Brax. Nice little... It's probably up to 500 gold at this point in time in the game. I can't remember what the exact formula is for the rate at which bounty runes increase in value.
Oh yeah, I don't know it off by heart either.
Regardless, take on out the mid-tier 1. Do still have the top tier 1 available for EWolves if Cloud9 want to push that. It does look like that's what they're going to opt to do. Not really an easy way to defend this, considering nobody's in position and all 5 heroes are there. But again, space created to a large extent. They're going to be able to pressure, at least for a little while, this mid tier 2, and they can pressure the bottom tier 1. So it kind of feels like if they do try and rotate to defend this, they might not be able to take the fight that they want. It's sort of a similar situation what we saw before, but they're going to be content pushing on down the tier 2 here for Cloud9. So back and forth we go, the tower game, trading away, nobody wanting to take an engagement, although I think that Cloud9 would be okay taking one.
Yeah, everything's ready to go. Probably the only thing that they might think about getting would be the BKB. It looks like Ritsu hasn't committed to anything quite yet. He could. We have seen a couple of people go for the direct Satanic right off of something like the SNY if they're looking to kind of head into the high ground. And with the AC shortly being done here for Brax, it's definitely a possibility. I feel like BKB, it might be the safer option just because you're up against the Sand King, a Tusk, the Queen of Pain, and the Visage. Really, he'll snag it up now. So just Van's the only real threat in terms of the physical damage, and of course the Sonic Waves, the pure damage that you're looking at. But there's not really much they can do once this is going, and it's going to be 10 seconds. So if they want to go into a sieging mode, hopefully he probably won't want to try and pop it on a tier 2. Hope to save it for the high ground. I don't know what they can really do here on the side of EWolves if they do actually 5-man and run into them.
Well, I think that right now there's no real way for them to get into a position where they can push high ground with it. So EWolves really don't have to defend, I don't think. They can always kind of skirt the issue and avoid fights, because no matter what, you're still going to be in a position where, well, it looks like they might actually be able to force one here. The vision also, it's worth noting, is really great, although we did get a couple of D wards there by EWolves as we moved on in. So they're getting ready for the fight in the jungle here. 1437 leading the charge. That's not the hero that wants to be out in front. They're popping the ulti. This is going to be able to be fully scouted now. Burrow strike down immediately. Nice cogs. Going to be able to push on away the Sand King. They also get Winter's Curse and popped BKB. Van is going to fall in the end. Gyrocopter takes him out. Meanwhile, the turnaround, Tusk is going to be able to kill off the Ancient Apparition in the backlines, but he's actually going to be able to get out of there as well. Ice Shards drop to block the path. Brax with no form of being able to catch there. So they lose 2 for 1, but it could have gone a lot worse for EWolves right there.
Yeah, but it's pretty disappointing when you're going for this BKB first build, the same thing that we saw Burning do in Nanyang. It's pretty frustrating when you're still going to end up losing fights. Like, generally you go this to be survivable, so at least you'll survive the fight and try and make your way out of there. But good focus down there by the side of Cloud9, and wiping out Van is really eliminating the major hopes of a comeback and some sort of a high ground defense here, because of course they can land these big epicenters and everything like that, but it kind of feels like with an AC and with the SNY and now the BKB and the Helm done on these, these cores are just so tanky that you kind of need that extra physical damage that you can actually target individual on heroes to finish them off. And without that Desolator coming out, I feel like Van's gonna have a lot of trouble doing that.
Yeah, it definitely can be very tough. The Aegis is now just reclaimed, so I think they still have another opportunity here. They are going to purchase a smoke now. Sand King getting ready to go. They did not end up committing Epicenter in that last engagement. We do still have Sonic Wave back up as well. Aghanim Scepter now finished on the Queen of Pain. Tusk has been able to, as we talked about, get that mechanism. Also now a Force Staff on him. And is a little bit far forward, so they've got a good mix of items right now. They might be trying to force a fight considering the Aegis is now gone, and there's the Force Staff Ward going to be able to catch the Burrow Strike. Sandstorm coming in as well. A-Blast going to hit onto 2. M-God falls before Epicenter is committed. Oh god, this is going to go really bad. The Visage ends up getting taken on down. Double kill right now for Ritsu, and not going to be able to find more, I don't think, but still, in that moment, you want to be able to get off that Epicenter. It felt like they were just very anxious to try and take the fight, and it wasn't the perfect fight for them to take.
Yeah, and I actually love what Brax has done here. So he's gone for the Blink Dagger, and I was noticing during these fights, he hasn't been able to get a lot done, honestly. He's obviously farming the map, and he's pushing, and he's throwing down these acid sprays, but in terms of getting direct right-clicks on people, he is having some trouble simply because of the Ice Shards, and this will just give him one more tool that he can try and use to get around the fights, use the Unstable Concoction, make sure he can get the vision at the last second to stun up the target for the whole team. So I really like this. I think it's very useful for going high ground. And it looks like that's exactly what they are going to be setting out to do here. But without the hook shot, they'll probably just back off unless they can find an easy pick as someone chases. And yeah.
It just felt like the EWolves haven't been able to find that initiation that they wanted. Like, they have all of the setup for it right now with the Sand King. He's got the Force Staff, he's got the Blink, he's got the mobility they need, level 2 Epicenter as well, but there just hasn't been an opportunity where Cloud9 have been presenting him with that perfect opportunity to take somebody out. And because he's so mobile, like that last team fight, as we end up seeing a smoke on up through the jungle, the rest of his team was behind him. He got the Burrow Strike down, but by the time the stun wore off, Gyrocopter was already going to be able to drop down his cooldown because they didn't have any follow-up there. And I think that this is the move that they need to make, but it's already sort of somewhat scouted out. Cloud9 realize what's happening. The smoke is kind of pretty... Okay, they're going to be able to find SVG. A lot committed there. Gem. Yeah, that's pretty big. That's huge.
Extremely nice. Oh, it's pretty good for, yeah, obviously, they're in a little bit more of a hole than 900 gold at the current moment, but it is pretty significant, just so it gives Van a little bit more breathing room, and it will help them get up a few more wards so that they can kind of spot out some of these smoke plays that they just made up against Cloud9, and hope that they won't fall to something rather similar.
Gyrocopter is going to be going for a straight Eagle song after this. So we've talked about Helm, Sanjanyasha, BKB. Now next going to be that Butterfly. I don't think it's going to be an E-Blade.
The Eternal Envy build?
Exactly. but I still think it's going to be petrifying, whatever it is that comes out next. I mean, they don't have a ton of right click here. Like, the biggest thing is just going to be the Clinks not being able to burst down the gyrocopter, but I kind of feel like they're somewhat able to do it regardless if they get all of the other ultis off on top of them before he gets a chance to BKB. It's a big ask, obviously, if you burrow strike into epicenter, but that's the hero that they're always going to be going for with the Sand King. So I still feel like there's one more fight, maybe one or two more fights in EWolves where they can bring it on back. They're not in the biggest hole that we've seen in this tournament, and people have come back from bigger. 7,500 is certainly throwable. In terms of experience, we're sitting at 2,500. Still definitely a chance here for them to come on back in this one.
Yeah, and one thing that we've actually seen is the patience from C9. This is something we've actually heard a couple pro-tier teams talking about and mentioning, is that going high ground right now and going early, there's just not that much benefit to it, honestly, simply because, you know, there are still the comeback mechanics, and a lot of teams do have things like the Darkseer and the Winter Wyvern, where, and in this case it's going to be the Epicenter combined with the Ice Shards to split them up. Even a couple long-range Soul Assumptions usually probably get off, you know, 3 or 4. The cooldown is just so small. It just means that going high ground is extremely risky, and even with an Aegis, like, what does it really benefit? It benefits C9 by winning the game, but as this game's going later, they're not exactly losing their foothold. They're just going to continuously increase that. They're getting these mega items now up on top of the gyrocopter, so it's kind of just, you know, eventually you do it, but it kind of seems to be more like EWolves, like they're forcing them to come to them with the smokes. Now, it did work out that time when they got SVG, but if you know, one failed smoke and C9, then that's when they want to go, or right after an Aegis like this. So hopefully they can get themselves a pick if they want to try and go high ground, and hopefully the EWolves will kind of spot something like this out. Their main cores are up top, but it looks like Masoko might be the sacrifice here.
Yeah, definitely. He kind of just sits there and accepts his fate. The Visage familiars did actually spot out that smoke in the Roche pit. So I think that they were just keeping him there to make sure that they knew where Cloud9 was, and somewhat willing to drop him. I mean, it's only a 30-second respawn timer. That's not a hero that they're going to be willing to go high ground with, I don't imagine. Well, it looks like they actually might be. I don't know, it's still a tough lineup because you're going to be able to sort of split push continuously with these little birds. You've got a ton of wave clear coming out, considering the Aghanim Scepter already finished off. They're going to be able to find on out this Ancient Apparition here. A couple quick kills might end up falling. It looks like the Clockwork is going to go down as well. They do end up finding him off to the sides. Ancient Apparition still going relatively low, but he still survives throughout all of it. Gyrocopter on the backside, able to take on out Clinks. Nice burrow strike up there by the Sand King. I thought for a second that it was actually the Ancient Apparition going down, but that was definitely Brax beating the hell out of the Tusk. So a couple more quick kills. Clockwork is down, so their initiation isn't there. Buying a little bit more time?
A little bit, but now there's going to be a BKB up on Brax, so it's go time now. Get this delivered. I'm not sure if there's any other major items near completion. Like, yeah, the Butterfly's done. The BKB's done. Now is the time. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like 1437 will be getting anywhere closer to that Aghanim Scepter, but by the time this game is probably decided, if it's not already. It's a little surprising considering it's only a 2-kill lead, and to their credit, EWolves, the split of distribution in terms of the farm, like, they're not that far behind on their supports. Obviously, a lot of this gold on the side of Cloud9 is going to this major dual core, and they certainly have a lot of it, though, considering it actually both Ritsu and Brax now have more farm than the other 3 heroes on their team combined.
Yeah, it's not good. That's really not good. That's my expert opinion right here, by the way. So Visage now level 11. It's starting to feel like it might be the swan song for this game 1 for EWolves. They are continuing to do everything that they possibly can. They're pushing on out this top lane. Smash is going to TP on back now after applying pressure to the top barracks. If they're able to take this fight, I'm starting to think that Darkseer ban by Cloud9 was really, really smart, because they don't have a great way to be able to come back into this one. This might be their option. Epicenter still up if they want to go for it. Smash just comes on forward. Nice aggressive Force Staff. Going to be able to get the kit onto the Ritsu, but he's going to be able to get taken out so quickly. Smash falls. They're all fallen. Clockwork able to take on down the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, barracks are dropping. That wasn't the fight.
No, and MSS got the exact perfect target, and using the hook shot right into the immediate cogs, sending the push back on Smash, just allow them to finish him off in the middle of that call down and everything else. So they can just look to push the mid lane, head down, no buyback on top of Smash, and Vandal desperately head top, just try and push out this lane, it would seem. Maybe, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'd even go back, honestly.
It looks like he's going to be going for an MKB next, which I think is the absolute proper decision. He doesn't actually have a TP scroll, unfortunately. So if they actually just go mid right now, if he shows in lane and they go mid, I don't think he gets back in time.
Yeah, thankfully they don't have a ward here, because if they saw that, they'd probably start rushing mid. I guess he is pretty fast, right? Like, he's basically, once he's skeleton walked, what's he even run at this point? 44% bonus movement speed, so he'll be running at, 450 or something like that. So he'll be back there pretty quickly by the time they can push in the waves.
Yeah, I guess that's true. What is it at? 500 actually in lead. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
That is relatively swift. He is going to be able to come on over here and take on I think that he kills Ancient Apparition here, but if he shows the rest of Cloud9 is nearby, 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is. That's what you needed. Nicely done. Now just going to try and run away. They don't hit the, oh my god, that Clockwork Hook was very close.
Yeah, that
again,
ward saving his life right there.
More space created. That's really the key thing here. Not going to be able to find him still. He's just too quick of a little skeleton man, and a little bit more space created. They're getting what they need to do. Do you feel like it's enough mop packs? Do you feel like they're going to be able to do it?
I think that this accidental observer is pretty funny.
Okay.
Top here. Have you never done that? I do that all the time. So you have to toggle it now because they stack up, but I don't know. No, it's more than likely not enough. Cloud9 have been very patient. They're playing this pretty much, to a T. The pick off on top of 1437 was a little unfortunate. So he actually just gave up. He's like, fine, I'll buy a Solar Crest. We'll go win the game.
Yeah. Well,
no more eggs for me.
It feels like you mentioned there the sort of taking their time, making sure making the correct movements, being very patient with all of it. If you think about the way that EWolves come back into this game, it's by virtue of a misplay by Cloud9. Their positioning is off. All of a sudden, you're able to hit like a 2-man Epi Burrow Strike type thing, or maybe 3 or 4-man. Really, 2-man isn't enough. 3 or 4-man is what you're going to need, and 2-man is going to be what you maybe get, just because of how sort of efficient they've been at making sure they don't present that option. If you think about here in this lineup, instead you have something like a Darkseer, all of a sudden your window for being able to make those big plays is so much stronger. And I think that that's part of the reason that Cloud9 ended up banning out that hero at the end of the second phase. So the draft here for Cloud9, being able to execute what they want to do, and I have to say that I think it was a really smart decision by Brax and Cloud9 in general to have him go for this build where he can be more tanky early and fight early, because if he's a liability in the early game, all of a sudden EWolves draft completely rolls over you. But being able to make a dynamic team fight or an item progression decision in the midst of all of it, I think really, really good by them.
Yeah, and it looks like having all that in mind in terms of the comeback possibilities here for EWolves. That seems like you can see the positioning that's done here by Cloud9. I mean, look at everyone in the background.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, go our 2 cores. We'll be back here. And, there's a Walrus Punch. I think it might have tickled Brax. It's a little hard to tell. I think I saw his HP bar move for a second there.
I think that if he stunned himself, it might do more damage. Well, okay. There's a tower gone. That was quick. 2100 net worth. Still Ritsu farming like a champion, more farm than the Alchemist. Not often you get to say that.
Yeah, they're probably fighting it out right now, like, how many last hits do you have? And actually Brax, he's down 110, he's got that Grievous gold. It really is cheating, honestly.
Honestly, it is. Meanwhile, Reaver picked on up for Alchemist, trying to build into that heart next, I would imagine, but he's just going to hit away at this tower. And what do you do against this? There's absolutely nothing. Aggressive Force Staff, fine. Walrus Punch, fine. I'm just going to keep on walking around like an Alchemist. Meanwhile, Ritsu off to the side to get the nice Clockwork Hook on the background. And now M-God, no Epicenter for a couple of seconds here. Looks like Brax is going to end up hitting himself with this stun in a second. Van dropping so low. Ton of damage coming on out. M-God does end up getting off the Veil. Sonic Wave on top of 4. Nice little damage there, but still, Brax is so dang tanky. They catch on out Smash yet again. He was able to burn on down that Ancient Apparition. Another Soul Assumption down top of Brax. They might be turning this one back around. Can they bring him down? Walrus Punch to finish him off. Very well done. And now Ritsu's going to fall as well, trying to take on out these Visage Familiars. He's going to be able to do it. Misses the second hook shot. Another Soul Assumption coming out, but Clockwork is watching his buddies back. And regardless of the Frozen Sigil, they do make their way out of that one. I think that there was a buyback in that fight. I'm trying to wait for this fight recap to pop up, but it's being shy. There it is. No buybacks. So legitimately legitimately were just able to hold. 1,000 gold swing.
I think what happened there was MSS had the good hook shot in the sense that he canceled the epicenter. Like, he got in there and he shut it off, but he wasn't in a position where it was advantageous for him to cogs and battery assault and get the rest of the team in because the tower was still up, so he had to bail out. And then when they don't have that immediate hook shot into the burst, I think the way that EWolves counter-initiated was essentially perfect because they took the fight in that little area in front of the tower, kind of in between. So, like, for the Winter Wyvern to get a good heal, he was kind of walking in, and you know, you have to wait. It is a cooldown of, what, 12 seconds on the hookshot, but it's still decently long. So, for the majority of the fight, MSS was just actually up here, just kind of like, alright, I'm gonna go again. Like, I'm just waiting. It ends up kind of, I don't know, it's definitely a humongous hold from EWolves, extremely well played. And now Cloud9, this might just delay the game out even longer, though.
Well, you take one or two more team fights like that, you've shown that you can defend your barracks. They didn't end up using buybacks. You take a look, I mean, right now, Queen of Pain still has hers back up. The Clockwork and the Gyrocopter do as well, but that's it at this point for Cloud9. You know, this Roshan starts to become really important. Of course, they do still get that huge cash influxed from the towers taken and just Brax being Brax. But maybe the turnaround? Oh god, this is not the engagement that they want. Sand King caught out from the rest of the herd. He is going to be able to get a huge epicenter though in a second here, I do believe. Nice snowball keeping people alive. No, it doesn't hit onto anybody except for the Gyrocopter already BKB'd. There is going to be the Winter's Curse. Van is going to drop relatively shortly, actually bursting down Brax here. He's going to end up falling. I do believe, yes, he does fall and stays alive. Huge for the Clinks, able to take on him down, but in the end, the Gyrocopter kills him off. Oh no, it was good. They were able to kill Brax with a heart. That was a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, I'm actually rather shocked that fight even went so well for EWolves. They completely whiffed the epicenter, couldn't lock down anyone to get it on top of. Oh, another hook shot. Nicely played by MSS. Mystico thinking he's going to get out of this one. Do they have any more detection? Yeah, they have the gem rail and SVG, so he is forced to continue running. And he'll just go down. So, smash. He's thinking about coming back in. He's going to have to cool down off now, but they're all full HP. Either way, they used the Sonic Wave on only 1437. And so that, you know, that's pretty advantageous. They were still somehow able to burst down Brax. Pretty surprised by that.
Yeah, I was too. I think that basically what it was that the Winter's Curse came out, get a little bit of an Orchid down. MSS still here with the Clockwork. But after the Winter's Curse went down, there wasn't really any follow-up damage. So the full duration of the Winter's Curse went out without really any extra damage being dealt upon Van. And because of that, he was able to turn back around and just right-click down the Alchemist. And, you know, regardless of how tanky you are, an MKB up on a Clinks is just going to be able to tear somebody apart. You take a look at Syrian Arrows, 60 bonus damage on top of the already 236 that you're dealing. Like, it's very, very impressive the amount that you're able to dole out.
Message Birds plays.
Oh.
No, I won't be able to get it.
Oh man, that would have been cool. Clockwork with the Aegis, Tusk trying to come on in and steal something if he possibly can. Chief's on the ground, but they're going to leave it for now. Actually going to opt to put it on the Ancient Apparition at this point, who does have a Midas as well as Aghanim Scepter. We're taking a look at some of these other items here. Queen of Pain already... oh, what is going on right there, buddy? Oh, Tusk. Okay. Well, he gets taken out. I think that this is probably going to end up being a sheep stick on the Queen of Pain. I mean, that makes the most sense. It could also be a Lincoln's, but doesn't seem entirely plausible.
Yeah, I would assume it's going to be the sheep stick, probably trying to snag up Brax before he can pop the BKB or the Chemical Rage. And speaking of which, he's just going to go in on this tower. They have the wave in at the bottom lane, so there's no backdoor protection, and oh no, Van again. There's no T. Oh, there is a TP, but he's just running anyway. I wonder if he'll get caught in the backside with this gem on SVG.
He could potentially. The other option is that he can burst somebody down very quickly if they're not careful.
No, he's busy death packing and they just lose the full set.
Oh, no. Alright, it's okay. It's okay. I believe in you guys. You can do it.
Where's the fight from the last time? Like, what's happening?
I don't know. That was just a bit of a miscommunication. They weren't expecting them to be there, I guess, and already they just lose a barracks for nothing. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know.
They just like Brax is like, hey, I'm in, boys. That was it. So I guess now they can fight mid. Like, this was just over now, I guess. 2 full racks.
Yeah, I think that's one of those situations where you sort of work so hard to make sure that you get the solid team fight, and then they need the perfect setup to be able to take it. If they don't end up taking the perfect team fight, they straight up lose the game. So at that point, since they weren't set up, now they are. Maybe they can defend this, but again, it's a big ask. They need to be able to have the perfect team fight. And I don't know if they're going to be able to find it. There's the jump forward. Epicenter immediately going to rush down, but huge BKB. Really good reaction there by Ritsu. M-God is going to fall in just a second. Snowball keeping him alive a little bit longer, but regardless, the Tusk falls, the Barracks fall. That was just not being prepared for them. GG ends up getting called, and really unfortunate there for EWolves to go out like that. But we're going to be going on into game 2. You expect that we're going to see an Alchemist ban this time around, or...?
Possibly, maybe if they see the Ancient Apparition spotted out, like, if you're facing up against it, it's a little easier to deal with in that situation, but when you're not running that whole Radiance Manta, you know, Alchemist, it is just kind of like a lot of other heroes, you know what I mean? It's not that individual, where you're looking like, oh, we gotta ban that out because they're gonna rat us to death, yada yada yada, but EWolves played extremely well. I think the bets were pretty well warranted. I think they were favored slightly in terms of who was gonna win, so certainly can have a bounce back in the next game. And, well, let's just get right into it, I suppose.